Our Washington Bureau Chief Jackson Proskow joins us now, shedding more light on what happened during the hearings. Good morning, Jackson. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Candace.
So what did we learn about what President Trump was doing for more than 3 hours, or, you know, as it's been put, 180 minutes during the attack?
Well, the focus of the hearing really was on what the president was not doing during that time period, this dereliction of duty by the commander-in-chief. We know that within 15 minutes of returning to the Oval Office on the morning of the 6th, after his famous speech to his supporters, he was informed that his supporters were now breaching the Capitol building. It was at that point that he retreated to the presidential private dining room off the Oval Office and sat for the next 3 hours watching coverage of the attack unfold on Fox News. We know that his closest advisors and his family members all implored him to send out a tweet or speak to the nation or do something to call off the mob. Instead, he sent out a tweet attacking his own vice president, who at that point was fleeing from the mob. And really, one thing that came into clear focus was just how closely the mob was paying attention to Trump's tweets and actions. Both the tweet attacking Pence and his eventual tweet more than 3 hours later telling people to go home were read aloud and played aloud and listened to directly by the people inside the Capitol building, and they followed his instructions word for word, Candace.
Okay, and radio transmissions from the Secret Service were also played. What did they tell us about how much danger people like Vice President Pence were actually in?
This was really stunning stuff. These were the Secret Service radio transmissions from the vice president's protective detail inside the Capitol building. At one point, it became very clear that they felt that they were running out of options to safely evacuate the vice president from the building. They felt that there were too many rioters and protesters in close proximity to the VP, and the window for getting him safely out of the room he was in off the Senate chamber and down to that secure area where he would spend the following hours was rapidly closing. Now, we also heard anecdotal evidence from people who work in a national security capacity inside the White House who were able to listen in on other Secret Service radio transmissions. And that person described agents essentially fearing for their lives, telling people on the other end to say goodbye to their families. Candace, that's how close it came. That's how much danger they felt that they were in, that they were saying farewell to their own family members.
My goodness. And we also saw outtakes from Trump's address the day after the attack. What stands out from them?
You may remember there were two Twitter videos by the president, one on January 6th and one the morning after on January 7th. The one on the 7th is the one in which the president condemned the violence and said that those who carried out the violence would face consequences. But it took nearly an hour to tape that 3-minute-long video. And what we saw were tapes, the tape stop at points where the president would throw up his hands in frustration at the script he was being told to read. For example, he was asked to deliver one line that said, "The election is over." And he said, "I don't want to say the election is over." And then you heard his daughter Ivanka in the room with him sort of editing the script on the fly to tone down the language even further. I think what's so remarkable about all this is that it shows the president's reluctance after all that had happened the day before to really forcefully condemn the violence and commit to a peaceful transfer of power, even though the election had been over for months before January 6th.
Okay, Washington Bureau Chief Jackson Proskow keeping an eye on it all. Thank you so much, Jackson.
Thank you.